Angels and demons are actually martial art ideas, and in this video I will explore the difference. Also, I want you to notice that in the video before this, I showed how my face changes when doing martial arts. There's before, there's during, and there's after. The spirit is in motion, there's intensity. So let's look at the word angel again. And I've added on to the wordplay a little bit. On El, right? Iunu, okay, Ra's called center, Heliopolis, okay. Leg, no. You know, this is relative to the body type features, figure it out, okay, and the ability to, you know, move back and forth, you know, gross motor function, gross motor skills, fine motor skills, as the scientists would refer to them in terms of the legs and the footwork. And we'll get to how this differs from basketball and other activities momentarily. So, also angle, okay, to be right with God and ancestors has everything to do with the legs and the angles. And low no, okay, prepares for death, okay. It doesn't want to build downwards. You'll see a lot of signs, like the Illuminati victory sign is actually an arrow pointing downwards. In other words, for Haru, without the H is the fence, arrow, okay. There's a lot of wordplay around that as well I've gone over in the past. So also lie, no, and no. So backwards, lie, no, and no. They don't want to lie. They don't want to cover anything up. Cultivating the spirit of covering things up to give your race the upper hand, your family, etc. is part of ill-gotten gains, right? That is what the principles of cunning and evil, that is set. That is these other deities, these demonic ideas that people emulate and worship and, you know, worship and come into the spirit, you know, the flesh of, you know, the existence of. So worship, they're the ship, they sleep with each other, people with a similar culture, and they take on a similar form. And there's a degree of sabotage so they can seem more healthy and attractive than these people who are naturally in the form, natural mystic, right? Mystique, okay? That's something from nature that makes you look a certain way. Even making it so I have to wear these glasses takes away from, you know, my presentation, my looks, okay? So even doing that, right? It affects my eyes a bit. Give me a second here. Takes away from how I look, because I look bad nowadays. I look sickly. They dehydrated me, among other things. I've taken away from my facial structure, my facial features. Figure it out, okay? So when I did that just then, my beanie wasn't adjusted right. I looked like a kind of weirdo, okay? So I did that kind of for good measure. I have pictures that really show you how handsome I am. The camera does not do me justice. Okay, one thing people will never truly grasp from my viewers, from what I gather, is how handsome I looked in real life. Oh, cockiness society needs to be said. This is part of it. Image, imagination, I, mage, sages, magic, wizzo, wizard, Osiris, witten, to know, wiz, kid, wizard, and so on. Okay, they're interested in illusion. Vamp means to shrink. Vampires want to shrink the image of people, and that's why they're on the left, where most black people are, to take away from their mystique, okay, their presentation, okay, their existence, their features, okay. These guys are teamed up with Satanists on the right, excuse me, on the left, to make it seem like black people are evil, to fit the kind of white establishment narrative. So moving on, lay, know, and know. They know who they're sleeping with and who they don't want to lay, right? So these people can be made to settle in life. They can be pushed in versus fell in, right? A rich person that does evil, who no one is trying to sabotage, who ends up being wicked, okay, has fallen. Their angle is someone who has fallen versus someone who's being sabotaged and being pushed in, okay, which is what they've been doing to me my whole life. So the few mistakes I made in life are a result of that. Log, know, and know, right? Going back to the tree, right? The tree of life. And it also goes back to, there's a phallic kind of indication here, implication. There's also an implication when it comes to weaponry, okay? And this also goes back to swords. What kind of sword does one carry? Right? If you carry a sword that's too big, is it effective? No. It's the same thing with penis. Sword is a phallic symbol. If your penis is huge, that by itself doesn't mean masculinity, nor does having a big weapon mean that you're going to win the match, okay? And just like with the semen impregnating a woman, okay, the sperms are competing with each other. You know, the biggest one isn't necessarily going to win, okay? And so it is with, you know, martial arts and the ideal man. So log, no, and no. Lag, no, and no. Who's lagging and why? Okay, who's late? And we'll get into this wordplay with this momentarily. So know good and evil versus needing it to be explained. The people who didn't see it my way already and needed it to be X, right? Chi, the worldly energy, Gaia, Gaia, you need it to be explained to you, okay? That's because your family has bred in the wrong direction, with all due respect. If you see me and you can't see the top martial artist after he's been sabotaged, okay, glasses or not, beanie or not, okay, you need it explained to you. Chances are you're not an angel. You're either a person or a demon. Now, how far off you are can be a good indicator as to where you are spiritually. Are you a demon who has fallen into the abyss and you live in darkness and you breathe darkness and evil? Or are you just a human who is too scared to do the right thing? Mankind can only truly be led by angels and the chief of the angels, if you will. And this goes outside of the Bible. The Bible is by the bowl. Okay, they don't explore these martial art ideas anywhere near enough. That's a dead giveaway that it is not a valid religious book. Okay, so we look at but it can be used to refine your understanding, know your enemy, know why he explained it this way, know why people interpret it certain ways, and so on and so forth. So this also goes back to discipline, right? The disc, right? The disc eye plane, okay? The discipline that comes from the sun, okay? The strength of the sun, the spirit of the sun, if you will. Disc days, see I pull. Disciple, disc or days, see I pull, and pull. Polis, called center, right? Pull, which also has a phallic kind of implications. All right, so again, the spirit world, the spirit versus the world, which is the Gaia, which, most people don't grasp why that is. It's because people who take, the homosexuals are a very effective embodiment of people who focus on how you feel. Going back to Freud's explanation, right? The superego, the ego, and the id. I don't agree with this explanation, mind you. Okay, but certainly the id represents the West's acknowledgement that there's a part of them that just seeks pleasure. It is shallow. This is an explanation for the demos, the peasants, right? They have this part of them that is shallow, that is so pronounced that they've described it this way instead of describing it as the worldly side and the spiritual side moving you in the right direction. By removing that from it, it is like saying that that person is evil, or they're a human who's too cowardly to be good, who's being bred toward evil. So everyone outside of the divine order is being bred toward being a demon. How far you are is the question, is a good way to describe it. Okay, so when we look at the creative force of the gods in Egypt, quote unquote, obviously we're talking about nature and supernature, a supernatural system, which is the martial arts system. It is a supernatural system. It is designed for the pure sun, pure African spirit of masculinity system, okay, to get people to man up and do the right thing for God and for the most logical direction and way to serve God, working on your mind, body, and soul in the most demanding physical exercise that requires the most intense brain activity. Of course, you're going to see bitches downplaying this, I have no doubt. As soon as I said that, I can already imagine scientists fabricating evidence. They even fabricated the Dead Sea Scrolls. These people are shameless dogs. They've proven it definitively. I give no credence to the media or to the scientists at this point. They have to default with my explanation. They have thoroughly discredited themselves. They're in no position to tell anybody about religion, okay, much less human nature. They are liars. They have proven that they are consistently lying about the most significant things, and they don't have the honor to tell the truth. They're not bred to tell the truth. Science is about a bunch of bitches who aren't bred to tell the truth. They're bred to lie. They don't come. You don't see a bunch of scientists standing with me saying he's right. You don't see that. They are bred to be cowards. Cowards should not tell the most important religious truths, especially when there's governments and corporations pressuring people to lie in those positions. Okay, people in those positions to lie. Anyway, moving on. It's very straightforward. You're an idiot if you don't see it that way. I have no time for that garbage. You're just stupid. I have no time for that stupidity. Anyway, so there's the perfect size and spirit. There's nobody like me in society. There's not even receptive humans. This is reality. Reality also has wordplay assigned to it. Man, again, this wordplay is for scribes. It's the explain. The fact that I'm explaining this and nobody else also proves what I know through the spirit realm, through studying people, how they move, their motion, their emotion, and how it relates to their motion. Okay? Ra-A, light, reality. Reason. Ra-I, sun. Illusion. L-U, shun. The L shuns the righteous. L-I-C, on or in. Okay? Lesson, listen, lay sun. Okay, the reason is Ra sun. The lesson, and when you listen, okay, he who has an ear, let him hear, you lay the sun. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody should sleep with Pharaoh. This means that the ideal man is the Pharaoh, and no woman in her right mind could possibly reject him. Okay, when he says, come to me and submit, and no other women are doing it, it is an extreme pull. It's like, look, no women are coming to this person and submitting. This is an extreme situation, an emergency situation, which proves that people other than me are evil. We'll get to that momentarily. Emerge and emergency. Okay. So Set is depicted as taller than Horus in a lot of Egyptian artwork, newer artwork and newer depictions of Egypt. Why? Narmer is actually depicted taller than the followers of Set. So Horus's followers, Horus as Pharaoh, rather, is taller than Set, okay? However, Set is trying to make it so he is taller. And also, so there's two ways you can use this. One, the smaller person making it seem like Set is going to be taller. And two, Set breeding to be taller than the Pharaoh, and making it seem like he is actually Pharaoh, okay? So there's two ways you can interpret this activity and the two kind of angles. These are angles they can play. You should always anticipate the angles. Think chess and super speed chess and supernatural chess and so on and so forth. Martial arts can be seen as super speed chess. I've described it that way, which also was one of the early descriptions of my videos of why I say that martial arts are smarter than chess players. This is super speed chess, okay? Obviously, this person who does chess super fast is smarter than the person who takes 50 minutes to make a move or something like that. I mean, come on. It doesn't take a genius to see that. All right, so demon, die men. They die with chemistry and technology to give them the upper hand. Okay, they die as men. He's demon, right? Day men, die men. Okay, they've accepted, AC, paid. They have accepted evil. Okay, day mine. They're looking for ways to extract something that is not theirs naturally. Day mine. No add, right? Odd. No and no, right? Add and odd. Okay, so we're almost out of time. So you have the Shaggy and Ichabod effect. When it comes to the Europeans, the whites who are shaped the most like me are some of the most cowardly whites, in popular culture at least, but certainly I've noticed it as well. They're skinny, they're kind of emo liberals, they kind of, Shaggy Doo, Ichabod Crane from Sleepy Hollow kind of people, right? Don't confuse the build for a basketball player with a martial arts. There are similarities, but there is no martial art motion for this kind of jump shot, kind of, basketball shot, right? And a lot of these guys aren't very good at stealing the ball unless they're smaller. Of course, it's a combination of that coordination in the tall person, and we don't really see this. And even there's nuances between Michael Jordan's kind of more compact body and my body that kind of sends the strike out quickly. Okay, so again, this is my reduced form. So we'll go reconcile, recon, kill, sell, e. Okay, reconcile, right? You have to kill the con man to reconcile. You have to kill the cell, and so on. Carry, cure, e. What do you carry genetically, spiritually, and so on. So remember, fallen, fell in. Blood, emotion, baby. So yeah, the woman is more like the child in emotions. Okay, that's why God gave her the period to make that separation. Okay,